The conceptual ideation of this work started in 2011 whenever I was in graduate school, and I started the visual shooting of the work in 2012 after I had graduated. The work took many, many months of just planning and figuring things out, trial and error, some risky outings. In particular, I had to do a lot of just rummaging through spaces. I learned real quickly that some of the biggest problems I would have is going out into nature and working with time of day, available light, and locations. The biggest challenges I face when scouting is finding the right location with the right lighting and the right design. I think that there's a lot to say about the spaces that I choose, from perspective or texture or lighting, and those face a lot of challenges. Sometimes the scouting itself can take upwards of a week or so just to get the right time of day, figure out who's coming and going to the location, and what are the challenges I'm going to face while shooting in the place. However, sometimes I'll just freeform shoot, and that's just where I'm just out driving around, just seeking out a location or just investigating raw on the spot. So that sometimes will involve me just driving up somewhere and just walking around for a while. There's just really with that, it's kind of just random by chance. Sometimes those photos come out, sometimes they don't. That's just the roll of the dice every time with this project. Sometimes I'll look for compositional design choices that are given to me, such as one-point perspective. Train tracks, this space here in Spectre, those locations are telling me how to shoot them because they're already kind of framed. Especially here at Spectre, it's a one-point perspective. It is a cinematic shot. It's set for cinematic experiences. So the space itself is already telling me how to photograph it. And there's other times I'll pre-visualize something. I'll look things up, like when I went to Los Angeles for some of this work, and I'm gonna find some of these hotspot shots and bring my kind of flair to them. I'll also ask myself, how is this space speaking to me? What is it offering me? What is it telling me about itself? Is there something I'm seeing in it that is really sparking my interest into it, that I can bring that to the audience themselves? For the piece, The Dark Night, I was in downtown Los Angeles doing some freeform shooting and just urban exploration. Since the city is so frequently photographed and shot and used for movies and other media, seeing if anything struck me like it struck any of the other photographers and videographers that had come through there. This was a particularly early morning when I was out walking around and photographing, and I'd found this tunnel, and it had that beautiful golden morning sunrise light hitting it and that artificial light kind of coming over inside the tunnel. Those two started to clash together, and I was like, this is beautiful. It just making the color stand out. It was making a lot of really beautiful texture, but it was jam-packed with that cramped, compressed traffic. And so I had to find like a moment in the traffic flow where the cars themselves were not blasting past me, and I found this rhythm where there was just a 2-minute window that I could get in front and jump out into the street, get the scene set up, photograph it, and get out of the way. It was a really high risk, high reward kind of photograph, but I think it worked out for the best. My work has shifted to pursue a moment rather than letting the environment take control. I'm creating or pushing a space to find that perfect moment. Now inspired by the visual narrative work of, say, David Lynch or Gregory Crutzen, my work is reaching for a heavily emphasized cinematic stylization through the use of on-set lighting and heavy post-process editing. The emotional and physical isolation of my work is emphasized by adding to the bleak psychological realism of each image. This in turn gives the viewer a portal to somewhere else in which iniquity has slipped through. I hope to offer people a glimpse into who I am as a person and what inspires me. As you can tell, I've always been inspired by movies and cinema, but photography, design, animation, everything kind of just like really comes into this like big pot of like what makes me who I am. And hopefully I can project that outwardly with these works. So that's why I've been pushing forward more with the cinematic lighting, heavy post-process editing, and just that design format into the work. I think the work shows how like anybody can see a space or an idea and use that or draw from that to create their own photographs. And maybe that can help teach us all like how to frame something or how to shoot something or how to approach a scene when we're photographing. Because that visual world surrounds all of us at all times. We're seeing stuff all the time in movie, television, magazines, on the internet, social media. And I think those things can really help inform us into like what we're doing and what we're seeing. Photography has that capability to like capture the most ephemeral experiences, those small moments that last for just a fraction of a second, especially those that we encounter as viewers to like these otherworldly dimensions that photographers bring. A big part of that change was while we're shooting here on the Spectre set. It was the last actual thing I did with my dad. We came out here after watching the movie and I said, Dad, that's like right, like 10 minutes north of us. Let's go see it. And he was all game for that. We drove up here, got in, looked at all the goats, walked around the set, and it was just one of the like last things I remember about him. And you know, this is like one of those like little sacred places now where I can reflect about that last moments with him. When he flew back home, I never saw him again, and I'll always remember these moments.